It started with a cough. Then came the fever. 2 days later, his lungs failed. On the third, he died. But this wasn't COVID. It was the flu. Every year, this virus infects hundreds of millions. Every year, it mutates. And we can't keep up. It hides behind the symptoms of a common cold, but it can kill faster than you can dial emergency services. This is not just a disease, it's death, evolving, and it's happening, right now, inside us. The flu isn't just a cold. Yes, the symptoms may look similar, cough, fever, body aches, but the mechanism behind it is completely different. It's a virus, but not a simple one. It belongs to the orthomyxovirus family and has a unique trait. It can change. What does that mean? Every year it creates a new version of itself, and our immune system is forced to start the fight from scratch. It has no fixed face, no stable form. It's like a thief that shows up in a new mask every time. And that's exactly why the flu is still killing us. The flu isn't just one virus, it's an entire family, divided into 3 main types, A, B, and C, and each of them behaves differently. Type C is the mildest. It rarely causes severe symptoms, doesn't trigger outbreaks, and barely mutates. Most people don't even realize they've had it. Type B is more serious. It can cause seasonal epidemics, especially among children and teenagers, but it mutates slowly and almost never leads to global crises. Type A is a whole different story. It can infect both humans and animals. It can exchange genetic material between different strains. It mutates at lightning speed. And most importantly, it causes pandemics that spread across the world. Type A has a special structure. On its surface, it carries 2 proteins, hemagglutinin, H, and neuraminidase, N. These spikes help it break into our cells, and the terrifying names like H1N1 or H5N1, that's them. There are dozens of possible combinations, and each one could be a catastrophe. To put it simply, Type A isn't just a virus with teeth. It's a virus that grows sharper ones faster than we can see it coming. The flu virus has one superweapon, mutation. It changes, constantly, and fast. On its surface are 2 key proteins, hemagglutinin, H, and neuraminidase, N. That's where names like H1N1 come from. Every time the virus replicates, it can randomly alter those proteins. And when that happens, your immune system doesn't recognize it anymore. Your defenses fail. This is called antigenic drift, a slow but constant change in the virus's shape. But sometimes the flu goes further. If 2 different viruses infect the same person or animal, they can swap genetic material. That's no longer a drift, that's antigenic shift, and it creates an entirely new strain the human body has never seen before. That's how pandemics begin. Instead of fighting something familiar, your body faces a complete stranger. And by the time we realize what's happening, the virus is already ahead. It all starts with a single breath. Someone nearby coughs. You pass through a crowd on the bus, or you touch your face after grabbing a doorknob. The virus lands on the mucous membrane inside your nose or mouth, and immediately starts looking for a way in. It doesn't need much time. It knows where it's going. Your respiratory lining is the gate. When the virus touches a cell, it uses its surface keys, proteins, to force its way inside. From that moment, you're already infected, even if you don't feel a thing yet. Once inside, the flu acts like a skilled hacker. It shuts down the cell's regular function and reprograms it for one task only, to build more viruses. It's like a factory that stops making cars and starts mass-producing bombs. Each infected cell creates hundreds, even thousands, of new flu particles. Then they burst out and infect nearby cells. A chain reaction. The infection spreads through your respiratory system. And all of this before you even feel the first symptom. But your body doesn't just sit and watch. The moment the virus is detected, the immune system launches. It's like a red alert. Full-scale war begins. Your temperature rises, not just a fever, but a heat weapon, designed to destroy the virus, which weakens in high heat. You feel weak, because all your energy is redirected to fight. Muscle pain, headache, joint aches. This is inflammation. Your body is burning bridges, cutting off the virus's path. Every symptom is not the virus. It's your own army, acting aggressively, doing whatever it takes to stop the invader. Usually, the immune system works like a smart army, precise, strategic. But sometimes, it snaps. And that's when doctors call it a cytokine storm. Imagine your army receives the wrong order, destroy everything, and it obeys. Immune cells begin attacking not just the virus, but your own tissues. The system loses control. Lungs fill with fluid. The person starts to drown in air. Fever spikes. Blood pressure crashes. Organs begin to shut down one after another. Doctors rush in, connecting ventilators, fighting to save the patient. But sometimes, it's too late. Someone who had a mild cough yesterday is now in intensive care, between life and death. Sometimes the greatest threat isn't the virus, it's your own body deciding to kill it, along with you. 1918, the end of World War I. Soldiers were coming home, some with bullet wounds, some with broken limbs, but no one expected that the real nightmare was just beginning. The Spanish flu, that's what they called it, even though it had nothing to do with Spain. In 2 years, the flu infected 500 million people. That was a third of the world's population at the time. 50 million dead, more than the war itself. People died within a day or two. The symptoms were brutal. Fevers over 41 degrees Celsius, bleeding from the nose and mouth, lungs filling with fluid, faces turned blue, victims suffocated, drowning in their own blood. The worst part? It didn't target the weak. It killed the young and healthy. Why? Because their strong immune systems triggered cytokine storms. The stronger the body, the faster it destroyed itself. There weren't enough coffins. Streets were filled with bodies. Entire families disappeared in 3 or 4 days, one after another, and all of it was the flu. Over 100 years have passed, but the threat hasn't gone anywhere. Today, scientists fear a new monster, bird flu, H5N1. This virus is mostly transmitted from birds to humans, but when it infects, it kills 6 out of 10 people. Luckily, it hasn't learned how to spread from person to person yet, but it mutates, and the day it does could become the next 1918. The flu virus has no stable form. Every year it changes, and every year our bodies are forced to learn how to fight it all over again. It's not the same flu you had last year. It's already different. New surface proteins, new behavior, new symptoms, and your old antibodies, they're trying to recognize a face that no longer exists. When we say, "I've already had the flu, I'm protected," we forget one thing: the flu is under no obligation to stay the same. Unlike measles or rubella, where one vaccine can protect you for life, the flu demands a new shot every year, and not because our medicine is weak, but because the virus keeps rewriting the rules. Last year's vaccine? It's like an old key. If the lock has changed, it won't open anything. What saved you last year might be useless this year, and that's not a failure of science. That's the power of the flu. To stay ahead, scientists at the World Health Organization meet every spring and fall. They study global virus circulation and try to predict which strains will dominate in the coming season. It's a game of prediction, huge responsibility, millions of lives, and very little time. Because vaccine production takes months. Sometimes they get it right, sometimes they don't. And when that happens, the vaccine becomes a weak shield against a virus that's already moved on. It's like trying to shoot at a target that's already changed shape before you pulled the trigger. H1N1, H5N1, H7N9, they sound like codes in a science lab, but behind each one is a real story of sickness and death. Swine flu, H1N1, in 2009 infected over 500 million people. Bird flu, H5N1, kills 60% of those it infects. For now, they haven't learned to spread like regular flu, so we still have time. But mutation? Mutation is just one error in the wrong strand of DNA. And then, a new pandemic could ignite like a match dropped in dry grass. It's just the flu. That's what we've said since we were kids. But no one told us that just the flu kills up to 650,000 people every year around the world. The flu isn't a sniffle. It's not 3 days off work. It's a potential death sentence for people with chronic illness, for the elderly, pregnant women, infants. And even if you're young and healthy, that's no guarantee. Remember the Spanish flu? It killed the young, those with the strongest immune systems, because that's exactly what triggered their deaths. We've stopped fearing the flu, but not because it got weaker, because we got overconfident. Want to protect yourself? Don't go to work with a fever. Don't ignore symptoms. Don't self-medicate the old way. And don't forget, the vaccine isn't about weakness. It's about responsibility. Because the person you infect with just the flu might not survive it. Empty streets, closed schools, fearful eyes behind masks. We just lived through that. COVID-19 changed everything. It taught us to wash our hands, to keep our distance, to listen to symptoms, and to fear the word virus. But the flu, it didn't disappear. It saw everything. It learned our patterns, and maybe it's preparing for its own comeback. Yes, we've become more careful, but for how long? We're tired of being afraid. We're starting to forget the basics, and it's in moments like these that viruses return. The next pandemic might be the flu, and it could hit harder than the last. The only question is, are we ready, or will we say it again? It's just the flu. The flu hasn't disappeared. It hasn't lost. It hasn't gotten weaker. It's just waiting. Waiting for its next mutation, its next strain. Waiting for the moment when we stop fearing it again. This virus has no face, no morality. It doesn't care who you are. It's closer than you think. And next time, it might not come as a cold, but as a catastrophe. Do you get vaccinated, or do you still think it's just a flu? Leave a comment. Have you had a serious flu? How do you see it now? And do you think we're really ready for another pandemic? If this video surprised you, made you think, like, subscribe, and hit the bell. There's more to come. More stories that reveal what's really happening inside us.